Good evening, guys. Okay, normally the event is a lot smoother, but my partner in crime is having high fever. The name is Jiki. So this is the new Jiki. And we train people on the job, obviously. So you have zero clue what you're supposed to do anyway. Guys, can you just kind of sit down for a bit, and then we'll start right now. First timers at Kickstart. Virgins. Shit, that's long. Okay, so basically the usual format is that I will talk for a while to entertain you, and then after that we bring the speakers up, they will talk a bit, we do some Q&A, and then there's a pitching session, not pitching session, and then after that everything's done. Who were here for the last Kickstart, the one we doubled beyond? Yeah, if you remember, there were like 300 old people, and why there's less people this time? Because I can't afford to break the hall every month. So normally, I can't fit more than 150 people in this hall before I get summoned to the building office again for the 5th time. So usually after a big event, we try to tone down, and yeah, that's how we politicians do, right? Okay, last night I was talking. Usually before we do the big, we start off with the session. I always have we usually hand around what something that I want to sort of talk about. Can you mute your...
Hello.
Oh. You're not talking, right? Not yet.
With the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Wi-Fi.
Where's Aidan? Yeah. The new GP. So this basically he asked me like being a single dad, parenting entrepreneur, how is it has been, for the past 10 years. And we started chatting like close to midnight last night. And then I started, before I went to sleep, I actually asked myself, like, if ever my son is there, the guy, yes. Okay, I see some weird Lego fans here. Please don't steal his Lego pieces, seriously, it's expensive. So if I asked myself, if ever my son were to come to me and say, hey Dad, you've been in business since you broke up in 2003, about, she's been like 12 years already. So what are some good advice or questions that you constantly ask yourself and to keep yourself sharp? So that was, thanks to Aidan, she was the one who stimulated that thinking process. So before I went to bed, I decided to write down 3 questions that I usually ask. Those of you who I've interacted with before, you may have heard me ask these questions. Like 1, where do you see yourself in the 1 to 3 years time? Not Najib, of course. Hey, that's next Jimmy coming up. This question was taught to me by the founder of Mind Valley, the CEO, Vishen Akiani. He likes to ask, like, basically you ask me questions, where do you see yourself in 1 to 3 years time? If you take a snapshot of yourself, you take a video of yourself at that moment, what would it be? Actually, Will Smith was one of the first to introduce me to that concept as well, because like Will Smith does movies and albums, right? But albums to him is a personal thing because it's always a snapshot. So I think sometimes I do ask myself, like, before I venture onto something new, where do I see myself doing this in the next 1 to 3 years? So my personal answer right now is that starting next year, I will spend 2 months in KL, and then 1 month I'll actually be traveling with my son in a foreign city because I want him to grow up in a different city. And thanks to Airbnb and AirAsia, travel is a lot cheaper now. My son is homeschooled, so he has the flexibility of traveling around. So that's my kind of, it gives me some sort of clarity. So if let's say an opportunity comes onto the table, I will always ask this question, for the next 1 to 3 years, can this opportunity fit into my plan? If not, then I will say no. The next question is, What are you damn good at? So this was asked to me by Dave Rogers in 2003 because he believed that every one of us has a talent. In some Christian circles, they will say when you were born, God gave you 5 talents, but he's cheeky. He doesn't tell you what the 5 talents are. You need to go and figure it out. So you see, the problem with the Asian context is that if you're good at doing something, like you're good at drawing, at the age of 7, if you go up to your parents, usually your parents will say, hey, great job, hit the books, artists can make money, and blah, blah, blah. So I think over time, those talents of yours, the natural ones, get suppressed. So it's good for you to ask yourself, what are you really good at? Like if you're at gunpoint, what is something that you can do better than someone on their best days? That's a sign to your talent. This is also taught to me by Mike Hancock and Dave Rogers a couple of years ago, because how many of you are running more than one business? Don't be shy. Talk to me. Okay. Okay, sometimes we have what we call entrepreneurial ADD. Everything we see, we want to do and stuff like that. So at one point, I really drained myself. Like, we only have 24 hours. We all get it. So what Dave Rogers and Mike Hancock taught me was that if you just separate your ventures into these 3 things and ask yourself, what are your baseline, what's your stretch, and what are your grand slam? So what are your baselines? Baselines are things that the moment you go out, not straight, but why not if you straight on the street, someone will give you $5, right? Which means the moment you do something, you pick up a phone call, you can make money. Baseline is what you do to put food on the table. You may not be really passionate about it, but guess what? You are really proficient in it. Like me, I don't do Kickstart for a living. I'm a corporate consultant. I typically only go about 5 days in a month for a full month's salary. I'm okay with my job. I'm not really passionate about it, but if I make a few phone calls, I make about 2,500 a day. So that's how I balance out my baseline. Because my baseline allows me to do my stretch. Kickstart is a stretch for me. It doesn't make money for me, but it builds a brand. Sometimes if you start a venture, you know that for the next 6 to 18 months, you may not be making money. That is your stretch. And your grand slam is a WhatsApp to a Facebook story. Say someone buys you over, the money is enough for your grandkids to build an Ironman armor. That's your grand slam. So you see, the problem with most entrepreneurs, they actually spend 90% of the time on the grand slam because it's like building castles in the sky. Guess what? They get hungry, they get desperate, the dream get crushed. So what I learned from both of my business coaches is that try to spend about 60% of your time at your baseline, 30% on your stretch, and guess what? Only 10% on your grand slam. The thing that you really want to do, you have only 10% of the time. So what I did was that because I really want to work on my grand slam and my stretches, I started optimizing my baseline. So in the beginning of my business days, I worked about 3 weeks in a month to earn about maybe 12 to 15,000. Come on, I'm a single dad, and I drink a lot of Starbucks. So, but over time, I try to optimize it. It's either I increase my productivity, or basically I increase my fees and all that, or basically I outsource. Like my sales team is based in Mauritius, so it's a lot easier for me to manage my overheads. If I don't need any sales this month, I don't get them to make calls or stuff like that. Everything that I have is outsourced. That's how I can travel. Back to the first question again, for the next 1 to 3 years, I want to be able to travel. I don't have any staff. I'm still doing my own invoices and all that. But that's the lifestyle that I chose for myself. So that's how I basically optimize my baseline, my stretch, and my grand slam. So sometimes you find that if you go to events like this, you always get interesting ideas. Ask yourself, is this going to be your baseline? Can you make money within the next 7 to 10 days on this? If no, it's most probably your stretch, and you need to be honest, is it really a grand slam? Because grand slams are really, it may take 3 to 5 years before you catch it. Do you have the kind of freedom to do that? So these are basically the 3 questions that if you ever sit down with me at Starbucks, you started talking about your business plan, your dreams. Chances are these are the top 3 questions that I will ask. All expenses paid. I think you need to pay $500 for your visa, for a US visa. And sorry, guys, I know there's some non-Malaysians here. It's only open for Malaysians, so that's what it's about. Yeah, there's another. If you want to make a quick $3,000, which I cannot go for, unfortunately, there's another pitch off event. I would definitely call it a pitch off, but it's fine. What happens is that you can basically submit if you go and pitch, and if you win, you are the best pitch of the night, you get $3,000 and stuff like that. It's a free event, quote, on the 28th of May. It's at this weird, I didn't know there's a mall in Cyberjaya, so yeah, and I heard there's actually people there. Is that the mall?
No, this is not the mall, this is somewhere else.
Oh, this is somewhere else? It's even weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't see me there and you see a ghost of me, chances are you're in Cyberjaya in the right place. I'm going to check it out. My friends are actually running it from the Open Coffee Club. What else? Oh yeah, Joel New will be speaking at the next Startup Grind, which is on the 23rd of July. Mark your date. They haven't really sorted out the location yet, but it's usually in KL. If you go to the link, you can get a ticket there. Hey guy. Yeah, I think that's all. Okay, I always forget this. I need to thank people more often. Thank you, Aidan, for helping out. Can you clap? Somehow we are like non-profit, right? I can't afford to pay them and all. I can only give them like water. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Alina. And yeah, for helping registration. Okay, practice gratitude is the way up to heaven. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, so basically I've known Dr. Shareha, who's a plastic surgeon. I need to say this all the time. A well-paid one. And Chris at a great event at Magic. Yeah, seriously, the event is called Great. Don't ask me what it stands for. It's grammatically wrong. Last September, they made the wrong decision of making me MC. At a government event like this, so I cannot swear. So, and I started researching what they do because they do a lot of stuff on social impact and stuff like that. And guess what? I think yesterday, Prime Minister Najib, yeah, the guy that we saw on the slide, he just launched the, is it the Social Enterprise Blueprint? Yeah, so I think talk about it a bit. And I think the application is closed now, but it's actually the ASEAN Magic ASEAN Accelerator. If you have a social impact idea, you can still try to submit. They already have 600 over applicants. If you go in and basically do the whole accelerator program for 3 months, at the end of it, I think they give you a seed part of 30,000 to basically start your social enterprise. So if you go to Magic, you can still try to apply it. If not, you try to mention my name. I'll try to get you in and start that because I think they still need, they may be still open for the social enterprise track. So, and then I started researching on both of them, and guess what? They are actually married. So, and for what? For this is like the 36th Kickstart. We started in July 2012. We never had a husband and wife. We had sisters before, we have brother and sister, but never do we have like a husband and wife on board. So, and it started to get me curious because, as you know, I'm a single dad. Me and my ex-wife, we started a few business a couple of years ago, and guess what? We got divorced, right? So it wasn't easy, I'll tell you. I'll let them talk about social enterprise first, but my personal question to them later is like, how do you sort of draw the lines that before you go to sleep, up, it's a time of the month,
Don't take your work home.
But your wife is like still wanting to check the emails and stuff, right? So how do you basically give a hint and I don't know. So those are some questions. Those are very valid questions, seriously. And with that, can I just welcome both Dr. Shareha and Chris on the stage.
Evening.
You know what?
We can also try without.
Yeah? Alright, cool. Hi. Alright, good evening.
Good evening.
And we are in outer space.
Are you guys so in love?
We're so in love that we kind of like create this interference the whole time. I think my voice is loud enough.
Yes.
Yeah? I've always been told that sometimes you need to speak a bit softer, Sharika. Because we can hear you, actually. So good evening, everyone. I'm Shariha, and I'm from Malaysia. I'm one half of Scope Group. There's not only 2 people in Scope Group, by the way. There's more than that. But together with Chris, we started Scope Group in Malaysia 8, 9 years ago? Something like that, yeah. So,
And I'm Chris, and I come from Denmark, and I've been imported goods here to Malaysia since then.
And he eats sambal petai.
I do, yes. I love sambal petai.
It's like your LinkedIn profile.
I'm going to
That he eats sambal petai.
Cool. So, I don't think I'm even going to go into this really, because one of the things that Maverick said when he invited us to this was, he just wanted to know like why we do this type of work, and how do we do it being married to each other, right? And I said to him, you're going to promise me you're not going to ask all the nitty-gritty details, right? So I don't know whether he's going to stick to his promise.
I don't.
Okay, nice. That's good.
Yeah, you're like baiting to say, no, it's okay lah, we're going to talk about social
You don't
impact.
care about social enterprise. Yeah.
No, but I think having a platform like this is really important because there are aspiring entrepreneurs here, right? This is why you guys are here. Who here has an enterprise already? Who wants to have an enterprise? That's more than half of the room. Who's just curious and just wants to spend their Thursday evening with Maverick?
And a lovely couple.
So, I'm just gonna, I mean, you can see the slides here, but in 2006 was that I've been living and working in the UK for about 14 years, and as Maverick, sort of said, I was a plastic surgeon, but if in the past I was like operating on people, fixing their sort of medical, surgical problems. At that point in 2006, when I was in the UK, I just got a bit fed up of doing that because, I was working so hard, 100 hours a week. I was really just being like this sort of piece on this treadmill that was the National Health Service. Anyone here from the UK? Okay, well, the National Health Service is like this huge giant on wobbly legs because it serves, 58 million people, free healthcare, and, thousands of hospitals around the world. So the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare workers who work in this giant system, they really get pushed to the limit because, there's not that much that they can do for, if you look at the sort of the proportions of healthcare providers against the need, it really wasn't matched, right? So I kind of like the rebel in me just said, look, I'm going to change this because I believe I can. That was just like wishful thinking at that time. But how am I going to do it? Because I'm just like this doctor, right? I went to university, I kind of did what my parents thought I should do. Being Asian, does that sound familiar? Can we stop that for a second? Well, that's not entirely true though. I didn't say to them I wanted to be a doctor because that was my only ticket I felt that I could travel around the world. But anyway, after doing that for like 8, 9 years, I was working as a doctor and kind of getting fed up. I thought, what can I do to be able to change the system? Because I really wanted people working in the NHS to feel happier. I really wanted patients to be able to get services because there were some patients we had to turn away because the hospital management said, tough, we've not got any beds. So that's not nice, right? You're sick, you've got, cancer, just had a plastic surgery, I dealt with a lot of breast cancer, skin cancer, all that type of stuff. So then I thought, let me study systems. So So I took a year out to study health systems with the intention of then going back to transform it. But then when I did that, that was when I met Christopher Eriksson. And we met in Denmark at a music festival. And I saw how he was sort of like rebelling against the system by creating his own little system that was kind of like disrupted the existing big giant, right? So it kind of planted an idea in my head. And then I thought, well, I'm Malaysian. What type of system in Malaysia that doesn't work? And who are the people who really need urgent services? So then I kind of scouted around, looked, this was like in 2006, and I saw that in Malaysia the issue of drug abuse was huge, still is, but was even worse then. And also the concurrent issue of HIV/AIDS. So I took a leap of faith together with Christopher, and I don't think I could have done it if I was Shariha Khalid on my own, trying to go against the system, you know. So in that sense, it was really great having a partner in crime, because, you know, you're both like little rebels trying to push, you know. I still remember one of our advisors, he said, because when I went back after doing the recce in 2006, then I went back to Denmark because I was living there after we got married. So then I kind of like said to him, you know, so then there's this and then, and ooh, sounds like you're on a little sampan, like a perahu, small boat, not even a boat, yeah, like a canoe, trying to change the direction of a giant ship, right? And we're like, yes, it's exactly like that, but we're going to do it. So then we came to Malaysia in 2007, wasn't it? And it took 3 years, but we did it. We changed how drug users in Malaysia were treated, from being treated as criminals, being sent to pusat serenti, being really like treated worse than you would in a prison. We even had testimonials from drug users saying, send me to prison any day, just don't send me to a pusat serenti. Okay? So we did it in 3 years, but we couldn't have done it without working with people who also believed that it was possible to create change. And these people were those very government officers whom, you know, externally people thought they're never going to change. 30 years they've been arresting people, throwing them into pusat serenti. Never going to change. Don't waste your time. Go back to plastic surgery. You had a good earning before? Yeah, okay lah. Go back there, you know? That was always what we were getting. And then for Chris, you know, he's been working in this field since he was 17, but he'll share with you his story. You know, we were both like, we give up. And we were at one point in 2009 when things didn't change. We thought maybe becoming a social entrepreneur is something that is a bit, you know, we're trying to bite off more than we can chew here. You know, this is Shariha and Christopher against the entire machinery of the Malaysian government. But with patience, with working with the right people within government, it happened. And when it happened, I tell you, honestly, they were unstoppable. They started with one in July 2010, one center that they changed the name also to reflect this new approach from pusat serenti, pusat rawatan narkotik, that was the name. They rebranded from pusat serenti to pusat rawatan narkotik. And they changed from that to cure and care clinic. July 2010, I still remember. We were like, oh shit, we gotta bring, you know, the UN people, we gotta bring like other governments so that they can see that they're doing this, So we brought the World Bank, we brought, you know, governments of Afghanistan, we brought the government of Maldives, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, just because we wanted the people in Malaysia, the government in Malaysia, to see that actually what they're doing is what other countries are striving to do. And with, you know, sort of like the support within the government machinery and with the leadership of one lady who was in the agency, from one, the next year it was 16 cure and care clinics. The year after that, it was 28. All 28 changed and became cure and care centers. And then they also built 45 community centers. It was just like crazy. They were unstoppable, all right? And it all boiled down to being able to find change leaders within these organizations and working with them, rather than resisting and just trying to fight. You know, we didn't come in at all with an attitude of fighting, although in our heart we were like, we cannot give up on this. People are dying. They leave schools at certainty, they die. Immediately, and no one reports, no one cares, no one gives a toss about drug users in this country, apart from their close ones. Okay? Because they die, because they leave a center having been detained for 2 years against their will. They leave a center, they go out onto the street, and then the first thing they do is they shoot up. The same dose as before, that kills them. That's it. Enough said, you know. Because you're already off it for 2 years, you know, and then you go on. Anyway, I'm talking too much, but I just wanted to share that this was my own journey, and Chris has a different story because he's been working in this for like 20 years. But thank you.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Yes. So very briefly about myself, I'm Chris from Denmark. I've been involved with social change since I was a young punk, hip-hopper. In Copenhagen, now I'm an old punk, hip-hopper. And basically I saw for myself the power of the youth culture and social movements. Because I was running around and being a bit of a naughty kid in Copenhagen and hanging out in the wrong places and doing all the wrong things. And I got involved with some youth activities where they use culture to give young people believe in themselves, believe in a positive future, the ability to collaborate, to experience the power of being a group working together on a shared purpose. Whether it was through breakdance or legal graffiti or arranging concerts or DJing or whatever, it didn't really matter. But that changed my life, and suddenly I saw myself being in an office and going to McDonald's and asking for sponsorships. We got free burgers for the concert, and you know, putting up posters illegally at night so that people could come, and we booked people from the States to come and rap, and we could earn a profit from that. And so this was in a way, my education as an entrepreneur was driven by this social experience of both that this changed my own life, but also that we actually, if we work together, we can also change many other people. So it became sort of a movement called Stop the Violence. From there I got more and more interested in what is it that pushes people from being a kid growing up to suddenly standing one day in a bank with a gun and saying give me the money, or what is it that pushes people to jump off of the building or destroy their lives in drugs. And could we in a way get a little bit deeper than just saying just say no to drugs. You know, we've all heard that, don't smoke. You know, yeah, nice. But that's not going to help the people who live that life. So what if we did something that could actually really reach those who are already doing it, who's already out there, not just going out to tell the kids who's not doing it, never do it, just say no, because a small group of them will it. And they are the ones that need to hear that message, not the rest. Who just go partying once in a while and drink a beer. So that's really what got me into this, more sort of social work. And coming to Malaysia, I could see that the need here is as big as everywhere else, if not even bigger, because of the issue around HIV/AIDS being out of control. I think what's interesting for you guys, if you want to be entrepreneurs or change makers, that maybe we can share a little bit about, is basically a lot of people think, and we've maybe been taught by our parents, by our education system, by society, that it's all about the big dollar, number one. Number two, it's about getting a good, stable job. Don't take risk. But we're now living in a time where the risk of not taking risk is as big as the risk of taking risk, right? Because you might get fired, the company might get shut down, you won't get promoted, you end up working so long for what, right? So a lot of people are asking themselves, what am I here to do? What's my life? And I think I was maybe lucky to be in the right circumstances, meet the right people, and maybe you have met the right people, or other people will meet you and be inspired by you. Because I think we all need to walk the talk and live after our values. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not perfect, but we are trying, and that's all we can do it. And in terms of doing that, of course, the more you try something, the better you get at it. So I think a lot of us are still running around the same, that I have my main job. I mean, back to maybe to challenge a little bit the idea. I have my main thing, and then I have the real thing I want to do, right? But there is also a risk that we keep doing the main thing because it's too dangerous to try the real thing. And actually, maybe the real thing is more feasible than the wrong thing. Makes sense? If you really did something worth doing, maybe other people might say, that's just so crazy that I'll actually back it, or I'll actually be part of it, or I'll buy your thing, because it's actually crazy enough to share with my friends, and they will also start buying it. But if we do something mediocre that is easy to understand, then you're just one in a million doing that. Right? So at least from my experience, I have, in a way, faced a point as an entrepreneur where I started doing things I shouldn't do just because it was hard to get paid to do the real thing. But the moment we in a way, went back into really doing what I believe in, that's actually when everything started figuring out. So I've, in a way, sensed that the more you live who you are, the more people are attracted to you, and the more energy comes to you. I think in terms of the sort of stuff we're doing now, one of the things we learned from, we failed a lot, we had lots of mistakes made. I think one of the things we discovered was that it's very, very hard to change people who don't want to change, right? And a lot of NGOs have fallen into the trap of don't pollute, don't do this, don't do that, but people don't stop doing something because you tell them that it's wrong. They will only stop doing something if they discover that there's something that's better for them. Right? So you need to give them a positive alternative, and that's for me what social enterprise is all about, is creating an alternative economy, creating an alternative career path where people can choose to do something they care about, and also get a little bit in the pocket, and not just say I'm a starving artist, or because I fully get what you mean. You can't just run around, yeah, my job is saving the world, but no one pays me to do that. So of course you're gonna make ends meet. So I think that is in a way the issue that could be interesting to get your thoughts and questions on as well. Some of the things we're doing, I don't know if you want to share a bit about basically what we're doing now, because what we discovered was when you want to try to work as a change maker or a consultant, it's very hard to go to the government agency who's doing something wrong and say, would you pay me to change you? And tell you why everything you've been doing in the last 20 years is wrong. That's a very tough value proposition as an entrepreneur. So we managed to do that, but more often than not, what you discover is that it takes a very long time to make these transformations happen. And with the changes needed today, I don't think we have a lot of time. So what we decided was actually what we have learned ourselves as entrepreneurs, what if we got more people on board in terms of creating this change and finding the little part of a big world that's broken that they're passionate about changing. And could we then all start connecting and working together collectively, both here in Malaysia, but also internationally, and create that sort of collaboration? Maybe that's the way forward. That we all take a little piece and do something about it, and share with each other and help each other, and maybe having some shared spaces like here. We've started something called Impact Hub in KL. It's part of a global network of 60 cities in the world, where they have these communities, co-working spaces, events, and so on. So I think it's about, in a way, everyone who's interested in moving this direction, connecting with each other and working together. I think the only way change will be achieved is through collaboration. But I think a lot of us are still we still have part of the software running that is still the old mindset that it can be dangerous to collaborate. They will cheat you if you share. Everyone will take from you, but no one will give to you. And a lot of people still have that poison running in their systems, and sometimes they will. Sometimes they will, take advantage of it. But the right people will do the job. So that's in a way what we decided to do since around 2012 was try to work more on creating platforms and collaboration. There's some examples on the slides here from some of the different projects, but it's not so much to talk about what we have done. For example, we started working with British Council around incubating social entrepreneurs back in 2013, where we incubated, maybe some of you have heard about Bichi Bichi. For example, Chris Todd was over there. Youth Today, have you heard about Youth Today? For example, so they were some of the amazing people that we would love to work with. So now, finally, there's a lot of interest in social entrepreneurship and these sort of initiatives. So now there's a lot of government support for it, so it makes it a lot easier if you're sitting here with a dream, with a passion, that I want to do something different. There's almost too much support. There's at least a lot of support now, right? So that's really, really positive. It makes it easy to take the leap of faith and say, I'm going to try to do something. You still have to risk your time. You still have to risk blood, sweat, and tears to make something happen. Even if there's a draft or there's some government support, at the end of the day, it's you who's going to make the change. Yeah. I think maybe on the sort of personal front, you asked a bit about, so what's it like? We'll get that maybe in Q&A, or sure. But I guess in terms of some of the stuff we're doing now, I think we're also running a program where we're reinvesting some of our profits from our social enterprise into supporting social entrepreneurs. It's called Scope Unlimited. It's a partnership with a charity in the UK who's been backing social entrepreneurs for 10 years. We do that in Impact Hub. We have an event there called Mix and Fix, which runs once a month, and you're very welcome this week as well.
So the next one is next Tuesday.
Yeah, so on Tuesday, it's called Mix and Fix. It's on Eventbrite, and
that one's on Startup to Scale Up. So we'll have Daniel Cervantes and Aaron Gill from My Taxi and Daniel from TEDx sharing how they do it. This video.
Can we put the summer? Maybe play from the beginning. So this is an example from a program we've run. Could you go one slide back on the slide? So maybe you just want to share the video.
Yeah, okay, you can kind of talk as it's been. Yeah, so this was our iteration of how to accelerate impact, right? Because like what Chris said, it was some of the social issues that exist in this country and around the world. It's pretty urgent to be addressed, right? And if you had to wait 3 years before we actually saw transformational change like what we did, I mean, people die, people whatever in the meantime. So this was like our attempt at coming up with a model for accelerating impact and supporting change makers. How could you very quickly in the space of 4 months test a business model, test an impact model, and bring in the resources necessary to be able to go out and validate and iterate and all the type of stuff that you need to do when you're starting a business, but here focusing on social impact. So the areas that it covered was, the 9 or 10 different areas: women empowerment, working with single mothers, youth unemployment, environment. So we were able to convince the government of Malaysia to support this and bring over 44 fellows from 23 countries. So yesterday, it was also the closing ceremony for this project, this program, at the Magic SC launch. So what we learned in doing this program was that, yes, it is possible to really go from zero to early impact. Yes, it is possible to bring in volunteers from all over the world. People do care enough to leave their jobs or businesses or whatever they're doing to come all the way to Malaysia to work for 4 months with Malaysians. We also have local fellows. Like this project, for example, it's like this entire river in Kedah. There's a kampung Lorong Maya. Entire river was full of rubbish because of a very simple service flaw, which is they forgot to include this kampung in the trash delivery route, right? They didn't have a trash truck come and pick it up. So then all the kampung people just threw the rubbish into the river, and they've been doing it for years, nobody cared. The river was big enough, it could accommodate everybody's rubbish. Once in a while they'll burn it and that's it. Then they can throw more. So then we challenged that with the fellows and said, do you know what? We believe that the kids who live here have the capacity to change this, It's their future after all, right? But they're not just going to wait until they grow up to do it, they can do it now. So these kids, 120 kids from the kampung, came together with the fellows, 5 fellows. Of course, they were doing awareness. Why do you need to do this and learning about environment, learning about rubbish, blah, blah, blah. But then they did a day when they actually cleaned up, and they showed to the adults, we don't need you to clean up, because it was kids who were cleaning up the river. And then of course it resulted in, like, you know, the trash, of course the local authority, malula after that, you know, 120 kids cleaning up the river doing the job for you. So then they actually installed 8 collection bins, and they did do that service. So that's just like one example, but you know, every time we do something like this and we kind of hear what these change makers feel, what they say, the feedback they give, it challenges us also, right? We need to do it better next time. We need to support more people who are like this. We need to push ourselves as much as we can, and we need to work together. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough lah talk, huh? Question and answer.
Can you just bring up the chair? Hey guys.
Yes, I am.
Okay guys, this is the time where you can ask some questions, but I think because I invited them, I get first pick, right? Maybe you guys can hold on. Okay, so you mentioned about this program that you have done over 4 months.
Yes.
And then from seed stage, I would say, early stage all the way to early impact, right? You see, the funny thing about social impact projects is how do you usually measure impact and also the sustaining life? Like this Gajah project, right? After you guys stop, how do you make sure that you can continue? So, how do you do this?
Sure, I'll take that question. These are very, very valid questions. I think they are questions that are valid not only for social entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs in general, right? How do you design a product or a service that from the outset you're thinking about how it's going to be sustainable, how it's going to scale, and you know how you're going to show the impact you create. For us, from the very beginning, design was a very important part of the process. Designing how this impact is going to be created, what's the best pathway to achieving it, and who are you going to work with to enable this impact to happen. That's all part of the curation, the design and the curation, right? Bringing in the right fellows, bringing in the right partners on the ground, and then finding business models within doing it, projects like this, so that it can appeal to different subsets of people who might want to then support it after that. I mean, granted, out of the 9 impact projects that were part of this fellowship program, 5 have a business model. And we knew from the start that, you know, we're never going to make, for example, one of the projects is child rights awareness. It's a campaign done by the kids, for the kids and adults. So we knew that there's never going to be a business model there, right? No one's going to buy this type of service. So for those type of projects that didn't have a business model, we just thought, well, for us, the sustainability of projects like that is the fact that this organization can continue doing their work. The host organization can continue doing their work. Enough awareness has been raised. There's visibility. People know about their work. You know, the Prime Minister of Malaysia is involved with this program. And that's enough for some NGOs to get the sort of like, okay, so they've got the Prime Minister warrant, like giving the tick, then they're a good NGO to support. Oh, plus they get the kids to actually do the child awareness themselves. That's also good, because empowering the people you're trying to serve. So like that one, it's just about connecting with the right people who can support and connecting them to government as well. Don't underestimate the power of government to create change at scale, all right? When we first wanted to do this, we were like, oh, should we like open lots and lots of clinics? Because like as an entrepreneur, you think, I'm going to fix the problem, this food security still exists, let's open clinics and give them medicines and counseling and all the stuff they need. But then Christoph and Shariha just doing that, me having not lived in Malaysia at that point for 13, 14 years, that was just tough, right? That was silly. We couldn't do that. So that's why we worked with the government. And then we were able to actually do it. So do not underestimate the power of the public sector to create change at scale. If there's like a change maker in this audience, work with those who have the resources and who have a mandate to actually deliver services to the rakyat, right? 5 of the projects had a business model, and it was intentional from the start. We said we want to find the minimum viable product for the business, financial sustainability, but also for their impact. One of them is actually that UStream project, because one of the reasons why this Idaman Indah or something, I think they're like the Alam Flora equivalents in Kedah. They didn't want to do it because they're like, well, it's actually too expensive for us to like go and collect and sort the rubbish and all that stuff. So then we thought, well, actually, all these young people, they're not able to get jobs. They can become waste entrepreneurs. So that was actually what happened. That they just went around to all these houses and collect the waste and then sort it out. So then it was easy for Idaman Indah to say, okay, now you can sort out, we can earn money from selling this, stuff that can be recycled or upcycled or whatever. So we are able to pay you, waste entrepreneur, a bit of money for doing this for us, right? So that was one model. Another model is because it's now clean, the village can actually now ride on ecotourism and open up their village for people to come. Prior to this, it was nobody. It's like embarrassing, it was smelly, and some of the young people there were even like injecting drugs in the rubbish area because they knew that no one was going to go there and catch them. Because, who goes and hangs out in
How far are they from cities and at least this place in Kedah? How far are they
It's near Alostar because actually when we engage with the local authority, we engage with the Alostar municipality. But I think just like a few kilometers. It's near the river. Anyway, we can Google quickly now. Kampung Lorong Sungai Maya. But one other thing was, as part of the sustainability question, we also engaged with the government, with the local authority of Alostar, to make sure that they knew about this problem and that they were, because they are the ones who pay Idaman Indah, right? It's the same model here, like on Flora. It's the government who pays to collect the rubbish. So,
And the 5 kids are there, obviously they're from Kedah, right?
Yeah, 120 kids. The fellows?
Yeah.
The fellows are from Cinta. One of them is called Cinta. She's from France. Bob is from Canada.
Okay.
Kirsten's from the US. Adha from Singapore. And then Baitul from Malaysia. So 5
One
fellows.
is in Malaysia even from Kedah, or how
Yeah, she's from Kedah. Yeah.
Anything to add on sustainability? Because I think a lot of times when it comes to this kind of projects that I mentioned, when you're preaching to the government, it's like, okay, you do this, fun, it's like a big hoo-ha, but 3 years down the road, it's just, they will look at it as a waste of money. So, like the sustainability, any good examples that you see in our slide generation that can be used as an example, a role model for the user.
I think maybe my view would be that in a way you can say, here's the 5 things you should do, or the top 10, there's a lot in entrepreneurship, you always get tons of advice on whoever we follow or on different blogs and so on. The first rule in all those is don't trust the list, because maybe the list is right in one context and wrong in another. So on the one hand, it's true that if we don't build in sustainability from the beginning, it's very unlikely that you will have sustainability. But on the other hand, we could also say, what if we don't have an idea about how to create sustainability, or we think we can make a business model out of it, but we've never tried building a business around collecting waste, or we never built a business around hiring a certain group of people who normally wouldn't get jobs, maybe people who are blind, for example, or whatever. If you think you can make a business model out of it, that's great, but maybe sometimes you just need to take an initiative, even if you don't see the business model yet. Sometimes you just need to take a step and do something to get the experience, and that first failure will lead you to figure out how to build it and how to discover the business model. Because it's getting to know the people who need this is the most important. If you don't go out in the community, you want to serve a group of people, but you don't know them, you're unlikely to be successful. So the first thing is know the target audience that you're trying to make it, know the problem. I would say is the most important. Understand the problem deeply, and from the people who care about it, who's involved in it. That's the most important. But I think maybe some people are not driven by social change. Maybe they're driven by a creative urge to do something, or have other aspirations that wants them to go in an enterprising direction. I think there's a wide playing field from being NGO, political maybe, to want to change the world that way, to want to change the world. And I think food in KL sucks because it's so hard to find healthy food, and that's my passion. Or all the art that's here is so commercial. I want to do underground art like they do in Poland. I don't know. But so there are many different ways. We all have different beautiful things inside of us. I think we just need to get better at letting those beautiful things out in the world and supporting each other.
Any question, you guys? Yeah.
Hello. You talked about power to influence the masses. Power to influence comes in numbers, right? And there's so many associations that connections with each other, as well as people who want to volunteer. What is it? There's 16, there's 20 different associations and organizations. How do you, group them? How do you bring them together?
I think one of the most important things when you want to sort of like create change is from the start to be very organized, and really this design part of how you're going to do it, it's important to think about it from the start, right? So for example, you're giving that example of a lot of people who want to volunteer, they've got the heart, they want to be involved, but then they're like, oh, where do I go? How do I get involved? And how do I actually make my voice heard? If you're the entrepreneur trying to solve that, first and foremost, you try and find out what are the challenges they're facing and being able to do that. And then you go to seek, because they're basically, it's about supply and demand, right? So their demand is they want to volunteer. And then on the side of the NGOs, they want volunteers. So find ways how you can match that. And you don't have to sort of go totally. I am not, even though I'm a social entrepreneur, I don't believe that, impact needs to always be scaled. Some of the best impact actually can just happen in small numbers locally.
So
seriously.
No,
it's not. It's not, because you can also think of it in this way, that if many people do lots of small change at the local level, there's still change collectively. So don't think that, it's just a big, hairy, audacious goal to try and change a system. I think we maybe were a bit too ambitious, and that's not always the best thing to do, right? So believe in just starting small, and if it works, then think of the next step. Push yourself. Think of the next, and the next, and the next. We seriously believe in that. Although we didn't start off doing it like that. But we kind of learned the hard way. Really, it was tough. Those 3 years, really tough.
but what if they get comfortable at a small level, like what Chris mentioned? What if you just like to be in this product project that you know that someone else can benefit from it, and you just get comfortable? How do you solve it?
Well, maybe it's a problem that people get comfortable, but maybe it's also okay. If you're creating impact there, that's still okay. Let's say you have the local doctor who's treating people locally, and maybe he doesn't need to cure everyone in Malaysia. Maybe he also needs to have a life and live and doing that. But I think maybe what you can do is you can maybe pass it, spread the bug. Right? Because if you discover something that works, that's the beauty of working for social changes. It's not competition that someone else is doing. Doctors don't think of each other as, at least most doctors don't think of each other as competition. They say it's great that other people also know about medicine. I shouldn't keep medicine like a secret. If people had done that, we wouldn't be where we are now with healthcare, right? So it's about spreading that bug of knowledge, you can say.
Actually, the whole idea behind this Impact Accelerator, this fellowship program, is we were actually doing it to test ways to find business models for impact. So now, for example, it's been tested in 4 months. some of these business models can be replicated in other places in Malaysia and the world.
So you're documenting it?
Absolutely. Everything's documented. We put it through. We're a bit anal. And I think maybe it's more me than Chris. But we're a bit we're a bit anal about whether or not we're really creating impact.
So how do you test yourself? Because you're questioning, I hear you're questioning even your own method. So how do you know? Are you like doing too much? Are you over anal about it?
Yeah. I believe it's okay to be over anal about stuff, but that's just me.
And we're not talking about the marriage stuff here.
Anyway, but coming back to that, because I don't know, maybe for me it's just whatever I learned when I was a surgeon. I was a plastic surgeon. I am a bit of a perfectionist as a result.
You have to be.
I have to be, because it's like people's faces and tits and
What?
cancer, okay, breast cancer,
Sure.
breast reconstruction.
Okay, got it.
I mean, okay, I have to admit, I did do a few boob jobs on other people.
There's money.
No, I mean, I was the NHS. I was just like some doctor who had to do it because it's my job, right?
Okay.
Anyway,
Say that group go, make a very bad decision and go into really bad debt. Would you
Oh my
consider?
God, we've done that. Chris can share.
What?
Seriously, we have.
They're considered going back to become.
Oh no. But we've kind of like
Going back to
done
big.
stuff because we were so impatient. We wanted to see change, and then it was like the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. So I think, on that one, I think that's what I said before. That if you start making bad calls and you find yourself sitting around a table, and I have done that in somewhere in Malaysia doing hospitality with the wrong people, and you start hearing them saying the wrong things, and you think, what am I doing here? Who are these people? Okay, I can make money, there's a deal here, but do I care about this project? Do I care about what I'm doing? Do I even find it, what these people are up to ethical or not? Then you should ask yourself, maybe I need to leave this table. I think values and ethics is so important, and I think never get into that type of deals. For example, there's a lot of corruption here, for example, so never do that, obviously. But also follow what you're passionate about. Even if you can earn money doing something, if that's taking you away from what you really wanted to do, is that money gonna make you happy now? So that's my personal view. I think the other part you asked about is more around, how do you know whether you're making a difference and how big is your ambition level? So just like you can measure economic performance, you can also measure social performance. So that's about knowing the problem and knowing what is it that I'm trying to change, how would I measure change. So that's more technicality, and there are people, if you're starting a social enterprise, maybe you care about the problem, but you don't know how to measure the difference that you're making. There are people that you can talk to. You always come and talk to us, and the documents you can Google on measuring social impact and stuff like that. So it's not rocket science, but it's finding indicators that's showing that you're making a difference, whether people are being more educated or more healthy or less drug taking or whatever it is. So that's something that can be figured out.
Okay, basically how it works is that because we are non-profit, so because you volunteered for the first question, you are like the mic runner for the rest of the time. He looks healthy, so free workout. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs, right? We work with finite amount of money, right? From capital and above. So 3 levels. Firstly, how, like, let's just say we have 10,000 at our disposal. How do we work with that amount of money only? Second level, how do we avoid from running out of money from our fund? And third level, if we run out of fund, then what should we do to get back money to work and operate?
Are you talking about cash flow, or are you talking about a grant, or I'm not sure?
The cash flow, please.
The cash flow, yeah. So obviously, you need to figure out what sort of cash flow you need to keep your business afloat. What would be the need? Because if you're doing well, you will get increasing problems because you need more cash flow, right, as your business grows. So forecasting sort of best case scenario, worst case scenario, what sort of cash flow you need is very important. Setting aside cash if you have an ability to do that yourself, or maybe getting working capital working with a bank. It could also be working with investors. So there's different ways of doing that. But basically, the first part of it is basically managing your existing cash flow and projecting what cash flow you will need in the future. So I think this is the boring part, but the important part of being an entrepreneur.
One of the things when we ran that incubator, impact incubator for the first time in 2013, we actually said to some of them, keep your day job. Alright, because you're in the stage where you are just, your idea stage. You're testing, you're building the idea, the minimum viable product. I'm sure you've heard of that term a lot of times. And then you're going out to test it. You don't know at this stage whether it's going to work. So best to keep your day job, if you have one, and then you do that. But then you kind of like have to plan it so that you reach a point when you've tested it and it's actually working, and you need to start channeling your energies towards making it really take off, right? So it's about managing time and knowing like when is the good time to actually do it.
I have a perfect example. I was sitting today with an entrepreneur, a creative entrepreneur, who's got the problem that he's afraid of getting too many customers because he doesn't have enough resources on his own to take care of the orders. So he's afraid of growing his business. He's actually doing pretty well, but he's afraid of doing more sales, because if I do too much sales and too much networking, if he came tonight, he'll be worried he would walk back with cards from people who said, I want you to help me design my brochure or my t-shirt or my whatever, because then I don't have time to do it. And then I said, but maybe if you hired someone who could do your administrative, maybe you got another designer who could help you, then you could actually increase your because I asked him to look at his numbers, and then we broke down his expenses in terms of his operating expenses, what are the monthly, what's your average sales, what's your average profit, how much do you need to live, would it be possible for you to set money aside and invest in hiring another person so that you could do more sales? If you had 4 days or 8 days a month more for sales, what would be your increased sales performance based on how much time you spend on sales now and how much you're getting in? Could we use that as a proxy to say that if you spend more time on sales, you will increase your revenue? So that so it's figuring out basically a growth model to figure out how you can grow your business. Because I think if you're alone running a business, then you are not an entrepreneur, right? Then you're a freelancer, right? So then you only make money whenever you spend time. But real entrepreneurs, in a way, make money when they're sitting here. Someone else is working for them. The concept is working for them. That's what people takes to talk about scalability and so on. But it doesn't have to be tech. It could also be soft tech.
I wanted to also add that 10,000. That's the seed fund we give. Under Scope Unlimited, we have like 3 different awards. Try It, which is 1,000, where we just literally, we believe in this person and the values and what the idea is. We say, okay, here's 1,000, go try it. You don't even need to pitch, just go try it, right? And then we have Do It, which is 10,000, and that's where you have to come with a business plan. You're gonna have to be a bit more sorted, and you need to have already sort of like tested at least early stage your idea. And then we have Build It, which is 25,000, and that's when we expect that you've already piloted and you've got your first customer, and you're ready to actually really build your business. So that's under Scope Unlimited. That's like what we offer. But there are plenty of other places you can go to. In fact, I think Malaysia is ranked as one of the top 5 in the world for getting financing for starting a business. So go out there and find what's out there, right? I mean, for us, we only award to those who want to create social or environmental change, because that's the mandate we have working with Unlimited. But if you don't fall under that sort of like sector, then just go out and see what's out there. Yeah.
Any questions from this side?
Maybe from your own life, what is it that you're interested in right now, or what's on the agenda?
questions. Maybe many Malaysians will ask, how can you start a social enterprise in Malaysia? Do we need to register the company with the governments or even some other private sectors? I mean, how can we also claim ourselves as a social enterprise? What makes a difference to the private sector, to the government? I mean, what's the grey line in between? Maybe you can explain some from experience. This is quite new for here. Thanks.
I think it's the same with the discussions we have in Europe, all over the world right now. I guess is that we live in a strange time where people don't really believe in governments anymore. We don't believe in companies, certainly, because we can see what the corporate world has done to the planet is pretty much burn it up through greed. Right? So entrepreneurship is great, but it's also terrible, right? Because it's entrepreneurship taken too far is what's caused a big part of the problem that we all care about. So it's like government don't work, socialism doesn't work, capitalism doesn't work, it's all broken. So that's why people are trying to stir the courage to say, could we take the best from business, the best from NGOs, the best from government, and create some sort of fourth sector in the middle, where we try to leave the sins of them all behind and only take the good part, like at the buffet, where you have the good Malaysian food at the buffet. So so I think that's in a way what we're trying to do. And the question is, are categories so important? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a change maker? Are you an NGO? Are you a government officer? Maybe it doesn't really matter. What really matters is, are you following your heart? Are you trying to do something that's worth doing? Are you trying to influence other people in a positive way? Are you trying to inspire them instead of protest against them and tell them what to do? Are you trying to invite them along, inspire them instead? Are you trying to create alliances with other cool people? Because, like I said, I spent too much of my youth protesting and even rioting in Denmark and stuff like that. And we didn't manage to change anything through that, apart from getting arrested. So I think if you really want to create change, it's about finding the people who was also inspired and curious and looking and connecting with them and creating a power base together so that we become more influential. Because currently, it's the other guys that's running the show, right? It's still the oil-driven economy, it's still weapons and all this stuff that's driving the economy. They're the ones who's got the power to influence our media and tell us what to think. So I think we need to eat better, think better, smarter, talk with the right people, not the wrong people, and be a bit selective about the life we want to live, and make it easier, make the bandwidth broader for people who want to do something different. Then there's maybe a second part of the question, which is if you are a social entrepreneur, should you have a special category? Should it be like you can apply to become a social entrepreneur? Personally, I think that's nonsense. Because some people might be in an NGO, like some of the NGOs we work with, and you could call them social entrepreneurs because they're finding innovative ways to hack society, and they've realized that just going to big corporates for CSR money is not going to help, especially not now that the price of oil is coming down and a lot of the economy in Malaysia links to oil, so there's less CSR funds around. There's more NGOs than ever, there's more people not. So that's not going to be sustainable. If we could help 100 kids for X amount of ringgit, if you did really well, then probably there will be 200 kids next year that you need to help. But that corporate's not going to double their budget for you for next year. Maybe they're even going to say, we're going to give to someone else, because now the Cancer Society is very much in favor in the board right now, so we're going to move the money, right? So suddenly you lose even the 100 kids you can't help anymore. So this is why they're becoming more enterprising. On the other side, you can say there could be people like you guys who are maybe more enterprising, startup-minded, but also want to do something that makes a difference. So you're building in some sort of social impact or value that is not economic into your business, or is socio-economic into your business. How should the government define how much of your profits you give back to society? So for me, I don't think it's so important whether you call yourself a social entrepreneur or not, or when you're an NGO or when you're, because in a way, my hope, I work a lot with the corporates doing consulting with them. My hope is that if we can change the culture in the corporates, that's the real hope, because they are the ones in control of the economy right now. So if we don't change them, we can create this economy down at the ground here, but they're the ones who's setting the agenda and defining how long we have left in terms of water, oxygen, and so on. Yep, that's very true. That's very true. I've been called that before, in a punk.
Any other questions? Yeah, all the way from the back. How come all the intelligent people are sitting here?
They're the curious people.
Thanks very much. It's very enlightening hearing about your presentation. Just want to figure out, dig a bit deeper into credibility with public organizations. You guys have faced a lot of it. It seems like you guys face a lot of difficulty just getting credibility with public organizations. What were one or two things you did that actually brought you up to the attention? Because this top down, this ground up, it's very messy and scary.
Sure. Maybe it's best for me to share with that because I guess for me, not to be arrogant, but the doctor title opened many doors in Malaysia. So I'm not saying that, okay, you have to go and become a doctor, but maybe you need to align yourself with people who already have that reach, right? And find your champions, your supporters who can help introduce you and start the connections. For me, the other thing that for both of us was the fact that Christoph is from Denmark, and that was already, that was already a door open. I don't know how many people are not Malaysians, orang putih. Yeah, Mat Saleh. And also the fact that Christoph had been doing this work for at that point it was 15 years, almost 15 years, So track record and all that. But I absolutely understand, we're lucky to have had that and we were able to then do it. But we've had plenty of other people who don't have that track record and who don't have the experience who are able to do it because they made alliances, because they collaborated and really thought about how they were going to do it.
Follow on, when you speak of minimum viable product, what is it in the context of social enterprise, which is totally different from private, where there's no financial benefit you need to reach the product market fit or something, you don't need to.
There is. Yeah. You need, I think one of the dangers, and I don't know whose fault it is, if it is anyone's, but people don't often think that, social entrepreneurs, they'll be willing to do something for no money. Or, they don't care so much about whether or not it's profitable as long as it creates social impact. Well, those are not social entrepreneurs, those are maybe NGO workers or volunteers or someone else. One of the things that we sort of always share with the entrepreneurs that we incubate or accelerate is that if you can't get your business, to be financially sustainable, then just forget about creating impact as a social enterprise. Okay? Then go and create impact in some other way. Go and work in the public sector or do something within the corporation that you work in, which we also support. Like our Changemaker program, we support people where they are, where they, we feel it's most efficient, easiest way for them to create change where they are. Doesn't mean that, to become a change maker, you must, that you must be a social entrepreneur. Absolutely not. But in the context of the MVP, maybe Chris can answer.
Not so much on that. I think it's more that I think it was Muhammad Ali said something about that impossible is an opinion, right? That you can prove wrong. Many things that's possible today was impossible 5 years ago. So a lot of things are shifting, and it's crazy people like you guys whose job it is to shift what's impossible now to possible tomorrow. That's what entrepreneurs or change makers or whatever you want to call it, the people of tomorrow. That's what we're doing. And never ever underestimate your own ability and other people's ability to make that happen. I think it's always our own mindset that determines whether we see opportunity or whether we see barrier and problem. So if you're persistent enough, you can get that meeting with that idiot who don't want to see you, even if you don't have the doctor title, and even though you're not Orang Putih, and even though you don't have a degree from a prestigious university or whatever. You can still get that meeting if you really want it, or you can impact it somehow. Maybe if you can't get through to the government, there's many other ways. I think social entrepreneurs generally prefer not to work with the government because they believe in doing things yourself and in connecting in a more grassroots manner. So, yeah.
The keyword is resource. So you got a doctor title, use it. If you don't have it, just use something else.
Do something else. Yeah, you make alliances. You find someone who can,
support.
open the door and well,
I know education is pretty much a key factor when it comes to social impact. I know both going to have great parents one day, but when you have a kid like my kid is 7, what are some education principles that you would like to kind of instill them since it's still at a young stage so that they become more socially driven, I guess?
Well, I think that's hugely important, and that's also something that we're a bit involved in because we believe that education is the answer to a lot of these problems, and maybe also the reason why a lot of these problems have emerged, for example, in Malaysia. So obviously, giving people the belief that they can change the world. I mean, I don't know if there probably is, maybe some people as old as me here know about a Danish goalkeeper called Peter Schmeichel, who used to be the world's best goalkeeper. And Peter was an idiot because when he was a kid, his mom would always tell him, Peter, you're going to be the world's best goalkeeper ever. And he was stupid enough to believe his mom, right? Of course, mom would say that. And true enough, he became the world's best goalkeeper at a point, at least, because he was stupid enough to believe it. And it's the same thing with change makers. The only ones who change the world are the people who are stupid enough to believe they can change it. So I think giving your kids the belief that they can change the world makes it true. Number one. Number two, it's not enough to believe that you can change the world. You got to do the work. And you gotta learn from whatever is not working. So giving them the confidence to dare to fail, I think is super important. We're working a bit with some of the corporates where there's some super smart young Malaysians who's being, the high potential, who's going to be promoted to be the next level below the CEO and whatever, at a very young age. But they're shit scared when they have to pitch to the big boys in their organizations because they're saying to them, please think out of the box, be creative, any ideas, come guys. But at the same time, they're part of a corporate culture where always give the right answer. Don't make any mistakes. So these organizations are a bit like schizophrenic and I think that's the power we have to give our kids is to dare to challenge the parents, to challenge the Prime Minister, to challenge anybody, to try to do things and try it out. And the other part is then, that's more about the power to take action. But I think the other side is then the values. Do we give them human values? Do we give them art? Do we give them culture? Do we give them the opportunity to see that even though mom and dad have worked hard to give you a good life, doesn't mean everyone else has. So travel to places and live with people so that they experience other living circumstances. I think it's hugely important. Other cultures, other religions, other values, mixing that part of things. Yeah. But that's just one of these.
Any parenting advice?
I don't know whether we're so fit to give parenting advice.
I think we certainly maybe can speak from the perspective of, having been through, at least for me, been through a system where it was quite spoon-fed, and I guess I was lucky that I had the opportunity to go away from home to boarding school, and you build your independence by just being away from your parents.
So sending kids to boarding school?
Well, no. I think I don't agree with boarding school as a whole, but I was just lucky that this boarding school I went to.
So you just opened up your eyes.
It did, and I did so much in my 5 years there that I think if I had stayed in secondary school in KL, I wouldn't have had the chance to do it. Right? So it's a balance. I mean, one of the projects we're working on now is trying to sort of, and again, it's another big, hairy, audacious goal we're trying to achieve of revolutionizing the education system in Malaysia by taking the bull by its horns and saying, this is a system that rewards high performers. What about those who don't perform? Does that mean they're stupid, that they shouldn't be given an opportunity in life? So we're literally saying we believe in those who don't get A's, that, that's another way of delivering education. Sorry?
Yeah, A in what?
Yeah,
That's
A.
different than something else.
Yeah. So yeah, watch this space, stay in touch with us. We're at the stage of doing a feasibility study at the moment. Will be done by July. So then we can tell you whether it's feasible or not. It's a study, it's a feasibility study at the moment. So we don't want to talk before it's feasible, but I'm sort of knowing in my heart that Allah, even though it shows it's not feasible, I'm still gonna do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Questions from... Seriously?
Or comments?
Yeah, just feedback.
Yes.
I just want to know, how did you actually earn money from your very first project with the drug addict?
Well, we didn't for a long while.
How long is long?
1 year.
1 year.
So without money?
I mean, I had a job.
Our day job.
I had a job and I had my own company in Denmark. So that's also why we're saying maybe it's not about immediately quitting your job and going on a rampage, but rather testing out your models first. So that's where all the lean startup or the MVP stuff would come in. That could do in your weekends or in your moonlighting hours or whatever. Figure out ways that you can validate and test your idea. Could you maybe find other people who's interested in working together with you? Suddenly what seemed scary and impossible became scary but maybe possible. You need that little, how might we figure that out? How might we try? How could we, where could we learn? What's the most silly small thing we could do that could make us understand a little bit more about this problem or a little bit more about the solution we think we have. There's a lot of stuff that we probably already know about, but of course design thinking is very powerful in terms of knowing the emotions of your users. Lean startup is very powerful, so all that stuff is out there and easy to access. There's books to read and videos to watch. There's so many free resources and tools, but I think in the end of the day, it's about finding the courage, and often that's by meeting other people. So this sort of events, this is maybe where you meet someone to be open to an idol. I mean, you meet someone, get lucky somehow. But it could also be other networking events like Mix and Fix and so on, and connecting with people who's already doing cool stuff. That social enterprise you're really inspired by in America, contact them and say, what are you doing? How did you do it? What should we do? Can we start a chapter here? I mean, reach out, don't be afraid.
I think this is also like an ethos that you're always pushing, right?
Roll balls and just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, being a woman, I don't know it's so comfortable to grow balls. But anyway, the key thing is just about having the courage and just trying, right? Or even if you think, oh, I can't do this alone, reach out to people who you see already doing it and say, hey, can we like partner? Because I think I've got a bloody brilliant idea to make this work better. And be open to collaboration, like seriously. I know there's this sort of like parallel movement in business that, oh, it's your IP, you gotta keep like, your IP, don't share, and then you just gotta think, you don't even know whether this idea is gonna work, and you're already having this attitude, right? Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, cool.
Josh
is getting warm.
There's a question there. Hi guys, my name is Caroline. It was really great talk. I really enjoyed it a lot. It taught me a lot because actually, can you hear me? Okay. So actually, can we pass the?
It's a way to meet a chick.
Grow balls.
Okay, again. So if you didn't hear me, my name is Caroline, and I just wanted to say thanks for the talk. It was really good. It really helped me a lot. And I just wanted to say why, because I just recently met a lady. This lady is doing something like, similar to you. Her target is like empowering the woman. So, she believes like, maybe you know her, I don't know, it's possible. So, I actually really like what she's doing, and I wanted to somehow like, help her or, work with her on any project or anything like this. So what we were just thinking about, and it was just yesterday, so I'm just like, so much full of energy, about all these things right now. It was just like a kind of project that she was actually like, she had like more than 400 women going through her course for, like empowering, like self-awareness and all these kind of things. And they all started somehow like their, small home businesses and everything. But the point is that right now there is nobody who can work with them, who can somehow like leverage the business, what they are doing, somehow, make it on like bigger scale for them so that they will not be like, earning like, 10 ringgit per day or something like this, but they will just take it a bigger scale. So she has a lot of like women like this, who they are like, some of them baking, some of them cooking, tailors, and so on and so on.
So you're actually thinking about, how to, because my business is my background is from business. So I really like this idea about growing the businesses, and about making all these like sustainable things. I really believe in that. So, but what we are just thinking about is like how to make it a business model, like really sustainable. We would like to keep it open, like test it with few ladies first, right? Like 10 ladies selected, just test if the business model is working for them. I mean, if we are able to help them to grow the businesses and make it somehow easily replicable for the others, so that we keep it open model for the others also to join later on. But we are thinking about the financing, like how did you get for your projects? Like was it financed mostly by government, or did you really make it like a business model that from, how let's say you help with the business, like you get some shares, or, if you can just share something more about the financing side.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. And first and foremost, never give up on that passion. If that's what you want to do, find a way to do it. So the moment you have that attitude, you will find a way to do it. Even if it's not going to be easy. And maybe part of the resistance that you get from the universe is also the resistance you need so that you get the idea right before you start really pushing. So maybe you will keep the job long enough until you have the proof that now it's worthwhile. You're putting in the letter and saying, yeah, see you guys, I'll never come back. So sometimes resistance is also good. And it can actually be dangerous to get the grant. Because if you get the grant for the wrong idea, you're overfunded on something that's never going to work on its own, then you will basically just be eating up other people's money until you figure out that. So the sooner you figure out that it doesn't work, the sooner you're going to find the solution to the problem. I think the other part about how to get funding, there are obviously many ways to do that. In Malaysia, there is so much funding, as you have mentioned before. So that's one option to go for grants. Another option is obviously to seek investors, or if you have any capital of your own. Another model could also be to say, could you find low-cost or no-cost ways to validate the model and test it on, if you need technology, maybe you can use other people's technology first to just test it out. There are many things out there that you could do that way, for example. Or you could get the first order that will get some petrol through the engine. So for example, when we started our business in Malaysia, we already had a contract. Right? So we didn't start setting up an office and hiring 7 people and whatever, and then work on getting the deal. We worked on getting the deal whilst we had a job and got the first deal. So it's a good way to start if you can. It depends, of course, on the investment required. But it's always better to use customers' money to get started, right? And at least they're not a shareholder, so they're not going to tell you what to do with the money that's left after the project.
I just want to say that I think sometimes here in Malaysia, the push is too much that you need to get investors in before you can actually start a business. We never got any investors in, but that was like by choice. We really didn't want to get investors in. And we were able to do that because we were service-based, based on consulting and really just using ourselves as resources. But I fully understand that for some businesses you need investors because you need to be able to, find the capital to be able to actually do your business. So the big question is, do you need investors or do you need to be able to work very closely with a bank officer whom you can convince that this is a damn good business idea, and if you fund me by giving me this loan, I'm going to really pay you back and all of that. Sometimes if you look at sort of comparing between getting investments in and just getting a good loan, it's maybe even better getting a good loan, right? Because you're in control and there's no sort of this external pressure that you must perform. So when, with our incubatees, people in the program, we always say, don't always think that your success as an entrepreneur is defined by how many, Series A, how much you got in Series A, or how many rounds you go through, and how many millions you got in. Sometimes it's even better to just let it be like organic growth, that you are actually truly improving the business model by the sales that you generate. Okay, one more.
Sorry, actually you haven't answered my first question on how you actually earn money. Were you paid by the government?
I think we answered that. We basically worked on getting contracts, and we worked for free for 1 year whilst we were keeping our day jobs. I was working as a doctor in the UK, he was working in Denmark. So we actually sold our services, and our services was organizational development. Because of course we couldn't come and say, yes, we're selling you the services of transforming how you drug users and changing your job scope. No one's going to buy that, right? So yeah, we got the contract, and then we said, right, we have the contract now, we have to deliver. So then we came to Malaysia.
But maybe another point here is basically whatever it is that you are passionate about, people, for your business to work, they will need to trust you. But why should they trust you? Right? So you need to build up your own. It's not about pitching. It's about having something that's so good that you don't need to do too much pitching, to some extent, right? So maybe starting with doing it for free, just to learn how to do it and to learn how to not do it critically, could be very powerful. Building that trust, building that network, building that recognition, I think is super important, and can be a good way to get started. And that's also why maybe you're not ready to take the move yet. Maybe you should stay 2 more years in the corporate world and learn everything you can and get them to pay for the training course and whatever. Don't feel shy, I would say, in that regard. Of course, be ethical, but I think to some extent, I think it could also be work with a startup, get a job at a startup, or a successful growing company, maybe, because you will learn more there than being inside a huge organization where you have one thing you're doing all the time. Maybe make sure you get more exposure. Yeah, these are some of the things that you can do, I think, that will increase your capacity, will increase your understanding. So, it can be good to talk to investors, even if they don't take their money. Just to know what it takes to get funded, to also get that. I mean, sometimes it can be good to have that person challenge you and put you under pressure, because they can bring some very real questions to the table that you might skip. It's not a problem, it's not a problem. But if someone's sitting there trying to take his money out again in 2 years, they will be asking you this question every month.
Sorry, my second question is, how did you go from a social enterprise to one that incubates other social enterprises? How did you grow?
Yeah, how we moved from being a social enterprise to how we started supporting others, change makers. Well, that was a little bit what I said about if you the model of acting as a consultant for organizations who discover that they have a problem. You're in a way management consultant in the social space is not very scalable, not so much from a business standpoint. We got enough business and we were growing. But if we want to make the change happen, it's only through supporting and bringing more change makers together that we're going to really ramp this up very fast. So that was in a way the strategic decision that we made in 2012, where we then also started looking at, now it's not just about having the technical knowledge, now we need to develop the technical knowledge of supporting others, which is very different from knowing how to do social work, knowing how to treat drug users, knowing how to do organizational development with large organizations. It was more about how you actually work with other small companies, startups, people who have ideas and so on. And this is why our belief is it does not always have to have a sustainable business model. In the early stages, people need to take initiatives, local initiatives, volunteering initiatives, projects, join something, because that's where you get exposed, that's where you get understanding, that's where you learn about yourself, that's where you meet other people that create that network. So I think that the personal development side of this, I think, is as important as the business side, and it needs to sort of grow together.
Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe last 2 questions.
Assuming you have no income at all, how would you start your projects? Assuming you have no funding at all.
Depends very much what you want to do. Maybe you can give an example of what you would like to do, or what's the change you want to make.
Like for the projects you wanted to do, how would you have done it if you have no money at all? And no money to back up on?
Well, I think again, it's framing no money at all. Most people, unless you're born rich or very lucky, have no money at all. They just have enough for the monthly and maybe a little saving. That was the same.
Start some good. Check out. Start some good. Pitch in. Global giving. There are quite a few out there.
There's a lot of resources in the universe. It's about being creative about coming up with something that's worth backing.
True. Last question for the night? Yep.
Like before you give it, right? You return investment a year. How long should you spend on a year before you say, you know what, it's not
Well, Dyson tried a few thousand times. I don't know. I really think but you know, do it smart. Don't do it until you're totally like bankrupt and almost dying. You know. Do it in a smart way.
I think maybe to add to it, I would say that because I've been wondering about the same question, because obviously when you support other people trying out stuff, a lot of them are going to fail, right? So you also feel in a way it's a big pressure on you also, because you're the one giving them advice. Because should I tell them sooner to quit, you know, or should I be the support and just keep trying? It can be kind of difficult. But there's a great book about it called The Dip about Seth Godin. Do you know Seth Godin? So basically he's talking about when to quit and when to stick. Right? Because sometimes you could say, what if Mark Zuckerberg had given up the night before, whatever. Or what if, there's many of the things that we benefit from today, where there was someone who had a crazy idea. They were probably about to give up at some point. Probably all their friends and parents had already, said, if you don't pay lunch, we're not meeting, because I've paid lunch too many times now. Right? So on the one hand, we need people to push it all the way to the edge. On the other hand, sometimes you can also say, maybe you also should listen to the universe. If your idea really sucks, maybe it's good to discover that it sucks, but maybe it's not. Certainly, if you're a social entrepreneur, it's not that you're not giving up on the dream, but you're giving up on the idea you had of how to achieve it, and you got to maybe pivot your idea. And so don't get so stubborn that you think that your solution is the only way to solve something in the universe. So listen to and try to find ways to find out what's broken about it. Because entrepreneurs are pitching a lot, but actually when you're testing something, you're looking for all the reasons why it's broken. So it's a quite healthy question to ask. What's all the things? I'm just going to stay for 2 more rounds. Can I borrow 100? Because I'm just going to win back the money, right? That can be a very dangerous mindset, right? That you get sucked in. So maybe it's good to tell yourself, now I've been doing this for a year. I'm not making any money. My girlfriend's left me, and my parents are saying that I'm insane. I'm not going to quit now, but I'm going to set a target that before 6 months I would have landed my first customer at a minimum value of 5,000 million or whatever. And then if you meet that target and it's not true, something significantly should have changed in what you're doing if you want to then go against it and say, I'm going to continue anyway. It's not really.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
I just wanted to add to that because, I guess for me, it's like not giving up on believing that you can make a difference is more what I'm trying to say rather than specifically the idea. I mean, there are most times we had to pivot how we were going to deliver services, like a few hundred times, I would say. And then you have to, like, seriously.
Lost count. Yeah, you just lost count.
Because, you just gotta like find ways to solve a problem. Yes.
I think one of the, actually, I'll just wrap it up with one question as well, because because I used to be a Buddhist monk before, so yeah, check out the performance. 3 years, and it's actually some religious belief as well. I think it's practiced in Islam. When you wake up every morning, you actually thank God, Tuhan, basically for giving you another day to live, right? So I think one good question for you to ask is that if you're gonna know you're gonna die tomorrow, right? Would you regret not doing it, or would you regret giving up? Then seriously, because we can die tomorrow. Try crossing the road, blindly, right? So I think that's weight. What my master used to teach me is that if, let's say, you imagine there's a little bird on your shoulder every morning, and just say, if today is the last day on earth, which possibly could happen, how can I make the best of this day? And just go and do that. So live a day without regrets. A good wrap up? Yes. Cool. Okay, I think now it's pretty much what? Yeah, I used to be a Buddhist monk. Check it out. So, yeah. Okay, now it's basically the time for pitching, and I think I've spoken to Chris and Sherry as well. So when you come to pitch, they've heard like tons and tons of sucky pitches as well. So I think they can give you some feedback, which I think is highly valuable. So how the format works that you come here, you got 1 minute. Why 1 minute? You say if you enter the 88th floor of KLCC and another Christian or Tony Fernandez comes in and say, hey, guess what? You only have 1 minute to basically make an impression. This is your practice ground for that 60-second pitch. So you guys, it doesn't have to be social enterprises. It can be a proper brick and mortar old school business as well. But who wants to start first? 1 minute. Oh. Oh yeah, okay, there's two already. Hey, I didn't see you, man. Yeah. Okay, Edwin, would you want to come first? Okay, you deserve more than 1 minute. You'll be giving free photos for. If you've seen him there, he's been trying to promote photos. Some of you are too young to remember that photos used to be something you can touch rather than on the screen. So, yeah.
Hi. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Edwin. So, we are specialized in WeChat marketing. So now here, I've got few photo. You can do the instant photo for free now, right? What the machine does actually, it forces you to like our WeChat official account, right? Just like a Facebook fan page. When people like your Facebook fan page, you got more followers, right? When I give you a free photo, you just like us in WeChat official account, then you like us, then we give you a free photo. And some more, this photo can talk. This photo is a speaking photo, right? Later I will distribute this photo to you guys. You scan the QR code using any scanner, scan the QR code below, you can listen to the voice. So, example, like Mother Day just passed. You can do a photo for your mother and then write a words, Happy Mother Day, and then after that you record a voice. Happy Mother Day, Mommy, I love you. Then you give this photo to your mother. Then your mother can listen to your voice.
If she
your mother
knows how to scan.
No problem. Somebody stay with your mother, sure have WeChat. Because now WeChat got 27 million registered users in Malaysia. It's a top app, right? So if you want to know more about this WeChat marketing, come to my free class on. I will publish. If you follow my WeChat official account, I will publish the date. Maybe on the end of this month, WeChat marketing class for free. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Go there and wait. Thank you.
Okay, hey, thanks for spotting us. For those people who never seen photos, like the Polaroid. Sue. Okay, Sue is like a hometown friend of mine. She's this really smart girl in school, so of course I have to copy her homework, right? So yeah, she's from the smartest class ever. But what got me excited, a couple of years ago, she decided to venture baking, and she's now like helping single moms and basically those who are slightly underprivileged to start earning extra income to support the kids. So yeah, over to you.
Hi, good evening everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Sue. I think I've done a good introduction. So I'm from Simply Cookies. We're a social enterprise that trains single mothers how to bake, supply them with baking equipment, with ingredients, and after that we help them sell the baked goods. So we are in the process of looking for customers because we target corporate via the office pantries. Imagine your cookies in the pantries. I think some office pantries have that. And also via cafes, we're targeting petrol kiosks as well, plus convenience stores and mini markets. So right now I'm actually looking for some people who are passionate about helping single moms to join my team because we are looking and growing so that we can reach out to more single moms. Our goal is to cover whole of Klang Valley in the first 3 years and thereafter go hopefully ASEAN as well. So any one of you who are interested, please, I'm sitting over there. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Because you give us free magazines, of course I'll give you 2 extra segments.
Hi, good evening everyone. I'm Lily. I'm from Body Mind Soul magazine. I'm sure most of you have a copy right now in your hand. Okay, I'm here to tell you why we're here. Not literally here, but why the magazine is here. First of all, I'd like to tell you about what my spiritual mentor reminds me all the time. How you do anything is how you do everything. And how you do anything comes from your heart. Coming from your heart is coming from love with good intent. And with
everything you do coming from your heart, you will do your best. Because it's out of passion, it's out of determination, it is out of love. You can never go wrong, right? One question. Who wants to live a life filled with love, peace, and happiness? Everyone, right? So, this is why I'm introducing this magazine right now, because this magazine is what we are trying to promote. Everyone deserves to live a life full of joy, love, peace, and happiness. And you can. How? What we do here is we inspire readers with inspirational stories. Our love-driven policy, editorial policy, actually derives from inspiration articles, giving hope to readers that any situation you have in life is not impossible. That you have hope, you can have a positive outlook, positive thinking equals positive lifestyle, and this is what we promote.
So what are you looking for?
Basically, I'd just like to say that this magazine is actually available in major bookstores, retail outlets, bookshops, and we also welcome contributing writers. But we have three major sorry, the word cannot come from me right now.
Publishers.
Okay. No. Three.
Breathe, because if you pass out on stage, it's on me. Nobody dies on my stage. Come on. Make the scene like yesterday.
Three conditions. Oh my
Yes.
God. Three conditions that I need from contributing writers. That is, you must be authentic. Okay, the articles come from you and you only, no copy whatsoever. And most important thing, it inspires readers. And that's what we want. Because end of the day, that's all we do. We inspire hope, and we are all loved. Love.
I've got a question though. In a day and age of digital, why are you guys still on the physical platform?
We are actually going digital. It's coming out soon in the next few months. As we know, a lot of people actually like hard copies, so we're not going away with hard copies as Westerners are very used to right now.
Thank you, Papa. Anybody else want to take the stage? Hey, yes, ma'am. Come on.
Hello. Alright, good evening everybody. My name is Amin. I'm from Geronimo Solutions. So the problem is this. The majority of businesses, small, medium enterprises, and startups especially, need stars to meet. They need designs, they need writing, they need content, etc. There's also a huge number of creative talent in Malaysia that is not being tapped on, not being developed on. Now, the answer to this is freelancing. However, the current freelancing arena is a very messy business. Clients can't reach, it takes a month for them to hire proper freelancers. And it takes even longer to get things completed, and the work probably is usually short, especially in Asia. So my business actually aims to manage freelancers, to handle the transactions, to negotiate with clients, to get better terms for freelancers. Why? Because freelancers have no accountability, they have no professionalism, even when they registered on freelance.com or freelance.com. They can simply disappear with your money, the list goes on and on. What we do is we mediate complete transactions. We discuss with clients, and we manage the situation with freelancers, as well as provide articles, videos, and content in order for them to grow. That we source free on the internet, or we have a premium version that we give paid articles. What you're looking for? I'm looking for freelancers to come to my database. I'm looking for funding to push the business. The business is only 1 month old so far, and I'm looking for anybody interested in that idea to give me your input, and anything else you think I can benefit from. It would be very. Thank you.
Okay, we basically are graduates from Lead Accelerator, so 1337. Yeah, what you have to start for us tonight?
Hey everybody, just want to ask if any of you guys are iOS or Android developers here?
It's pretty direct.
Anyone? What about a business development guy or a marketer?
What's the pitching about first of all?
Okay. So yeah, the app that I'm going to develop it's on lesson management. It's to help tutors to get new students automatically, and it's to help them to manage the students on an ongoing basis. Is there any tutors here or anyone that's looking for private lessons from time to time?
She's not here.
Okay, that's it.
Any other pictures? Because if not, we are just wrapping up tonight. Oh, you decided to go back to Isa.
Hi. Hi, my name is Isa. 2 months ago, I just started my own social enterprise in Generasi Bersatu Malaysia. For our first project, I got the idea based on my passion because few years back in 2011, I cannot afford my bachelor degree. I just had a diploma. That's why I'm thinking of something to ease undergraduate students. Maths. For this project, I'm going to create one creative writing platform where when students write an article, they will get money. So in order for them to gain more money, they need to commit more articles. So from here, because since we are kids, we've been taught if you want something, if you get number 1 in class, you get your reward. That's why I'm thinking of something like this to create excitement, especially towards Generation Y. Because Generation Y nowadays, they no longer like to read books. That's why I create an online platform where when they write something, they will get reward. We will work closely with UStream for our first project. UStream will handle in terms of content checking and also plagiarism, because in order to get money, students to get money, they will do anything. They are willing to do anything. So, yeah, I'm looking for. I just want to tell a story actually. Okay, good news.
Where
we
can find more about?
We are going to launch next month. So far, our patrons, we have 3 patrons confirmed. Head of patrons, Tun Dr. Mahathir, and he will be assisted by Sheikh Muzaffar, Yeshwara, and also Datuk Siti Nurhaliza.
You managed an amazing lineup. You just started with that.
Hopefully, we'll.
Is there like a website or something that I can get?
Give me 1 month. You can Google for Generasi Bersatu Malaysia. I will give you the cover.
Okay, thanks.
Any other pictures? Tomorrow is not schooling day, but I still need to send my son home. Oh, hey, come on, man. You are? Oh, Chris. Yeah.
Alright, so hi everyone, my name is Chris. So I'm the co-founder of One Digital Marketing Agency. So my purpose of speaking today is that I wish to offer helps to those who need more traffic, more visitors for a website. Or even for those who doesn't have a website and you need this type of services, you can look from me. Because I'm currently specializing in search engine optimization, web development, as well as all the other techniques that you need to increase your online promotion. So if you are interested in this, feel free to approach me after this, or if you prefer to contact me virtually, you can look for the top right corner over there. My name is Chris Tang, and you can get my contact details over there. So thank you.
Thank you. Is that all for tonight? Yeah, I guess it's pretty much. Oh, okay. How come you always like the last one to write?
Being last is cool.
No, sometimes people go home.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question. Who likes chocolates? Chocolates. Hands up.
Can you give me one
do
round?
you eat it every day? No. What about chocolate drinks? Chocolate drinks? I mean, hands up. Milo. Who likes Milo? So half the room, okay. So this is what I've been feeling. There isn't much of a chocolate market in Malaysia. That's what I've been finding because
Really?
I want to do businesses related to chocolates, and I find that there is not enough chocolate market in Malaysia. So I got to pitch this idea. I would like to create this website that will gather all the information of any people or any companies who would like to create or combine their chocolate ideas together. Like, if you go to this website, then you can find the location of the shop, like, you know, Dip and Dip, those kind of shops that sells chocolate desserts. Maybe I would like to also provide information of the types of chocolates they use, because chocolates, I'm very particular about the quality of it. I like to provide information about the company's chocolates they use, location, help consumers find them easily. So what I'm looking for is advice. I'm looking for advice. Like
directory for chocolate lovers to like kind of approach out.
Yeah. That sounds similar to mine.
Okay, with that, we pretty much wrap up for this month's Kickstart. Next month, I think, is somewhere within the 17th. We do this every month. So this month is very much, I guess I go into social enterprise mode and try to do something. Someone labeled me anti-social entrepreneur before. That's cool, yeah, but still stay around, mingle. I think both of you are still going to be around. You have a party to go to, right? Yeah, I think a lot of them will want to ask more about the next incubator intake as well. So take the time to ask Dr. Shareha and Chris about that. And with that, thank you so much for coming. I know Jen was pretty bad, but it's been a bit. Thank you.